This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. The countdown is now down to 3.5 hours until Ohio State takes on Minnesota at 7:30. We wrapped up the noon slate. We are now into the 3:30 slate. Not a lot of scoring yet, a lot of games in the first quarter, although the one team that really is putting points on the board, shockingly, is UCLA. They are up 10-0 at home in Pasadena against number 7 Penn State. That game is on 10 TV. Also, Florida jumped ahead of Texas early, number 9 Texas, that is, so Florida is up 7-0. And if you missed those finals from earlier, we had Michigan with a 24-10 victory over Wisconsin in Ann Arbor. Luke Altmaier put it on Purdue 43-27 in the favor of the Illini. And Cincinnati beats number 14 Iowa State 38-30.
Do you smell it? The fine aroma of a soon-to-be Buckeye victory and Rothman searing his brat. Intoxicating. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid. And by Mountain Dew. Here for the good times. Do the do.
Live from Fan Fest, here's Tim May, Dave Biddle, and Anthony Rothman.
You got it. Back on campus. Good to see everybody. Buckeye Nation back at home, feeling strong. Was it this hot during the Texas weekend? I don't think so, man. Summer is still here, and guess who else is hot? The number 1 team in the country. Hottest team in the country. They've won 8 straight. If you want to date it back to last year's playoff, why not? We should do it. The streak continues. They've won 13 straight over the team they're going to play tonight. And it's a night game in the shoe. So happy to be here. Anthony Rothman, Dave Biddle, and Tim May, who's back safely from his trip to Washington.
Yes.
That game started out eerily similar to the OU game. You know, you had a goal line stand that didn't go their way. There was a fumbled punt, and you kept the team around. But then the second half, they opened it up like we thought they could and would. And then they win convincingly. How was the trip, Tim?
It was great. It was a great trip, great weather, etc. And, I got really, like I told you last week, I got really close to Bill Gates' house but couldn't get there. That's another story for another day. But the bottom line is Ohio State came right out and took care of business, I thought, on their first drive. Just got stoned at the one-foot line because they opted to run a play they'd run against Texas. And, hey, Washington wasn't fooled. What do you think about that, Biddle? But the bottom line is I thought the Ohio State defense had a good figure for that game after the first couple of possessions by Washington, and it was clear if Washington was going to win, it was going to have to be like 6-0 or something. And Ohio State held sway more and more as the game went on. But I was telling somebody the other day, Graham Rahal texted me with about 3 minutes left in the first half, and he's going, "What's wrong with the offense?" And I texted him back, "Nothing that throwing the ball to number 4 can't fix." and then 5 seconds later, Jeremiah Smith catches that little drag route, a little tunnel screen, whatever you want to call it. I call it a drag route over the middle, and turns it up, and it's 7-3, and they're not looking back.
Did Graham Rahal like the worst fake field goal in football history?
Yeah,
was he enjoying that?
I think that was taken from the Les Miles series of fake field goals, right? When he was at LSU long ago. But
now, what
was amazing was Jalen McClain was right there and made the play on the would-be wide receiver. But what are you doing there? I'm not sure, Jed Fish, if you ever gave the media there a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, you're playing against, in my opinion, the best defense in the country.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to say considering Ohio State had the best defense in the country by all reasonable metrics last year. They lose 8 starters off that defense.
Yep.
All of which were NFL draft picks. It wasn't like they just lost like 8 guys. They lost 8 draft picks. They lost their defensive coordinator. Dare I say, and they have to prove it, I think the defense has improved this year.
It's a different defense.
Matt Patricia's doing a great job. The first-year starters, Caden McDonald, Caden Curry, Arvell Reese, all these guys that are first-year starters are just balling out. And Matt Patricia, what a home run hire he was. There's a lot of people that were critical of that hire. You can't find those people anymore.
Yeah, two of the, I think, seminal plays defensively for Ohio State last week was when Kenyatta Jackson didn't get faked out when Damon Williams came out to the edge, and Kenyatta said, "I'm standing right here. You make your move, I'll make mine." And then the other one was when they went to it's not really Wall Street. It's more like what's the street right next to Wall Street? But they had 3 defensive ends lined up across the middle. Caden Curry was the nose guard, just ran right around the center and got one of his sacks. Those were, that was the defensive line just just taking care of business, and that was the biggest question mark on that defense going into this season. And the other thing is, I really think this defense, the way it's similar in structure, et cetera, to last year, but it is playing with such velocity, that's the word I use, that it's obvious to anybody. They're just playing fast and assured of whatever it is their assignment is from one play to the next. And that, the confidence there is obvious.
I thought they really stayed at home against that quarterback, and it'll be a different story tonight because Drake Lindsey's not that guy.
Right.
He's 6'5", 230. He's not going to run. So it was a totally different task last week. I thought they did a great job, so much so that I really think that they actually made Washington outthink themselves a lot.
Yes.
Where they took the ball out of DeMond Williams' hands in very red zone possession times where you think they would RPO to death there.
Yep.
And Ohio State had their number, Dave, because there were times I went back and looked again where they just decided at Washington had first and goal at the 2, and they decided to straight handoff twice with a very athletic quarterback. That surprised me.
Ohio State talked all week, as Tim knows and you know, Anthony, about we want to cage the pocket. You talked to all these defensive players are like, we want
cage. That was the word of the week.
It was like cage the elephant, cage the pocket, and they caged that pocket. Like, DeMond Williams is a good quarterback. He had no chance against that defense. There's times you're like, he's probably thinking every time he's ever tried to juke a linebacker, he's been successful. Arvell Reese was like, no, boom. I mean, Arvell Reese is playing like at another level right now. So, yeah. I mean, I couldn't be more impressed with this defense right now.
That's why I asked Ryan about him again this week. I mean, just the way he's playing, the way he's being implemented in the defense, that's what's key. And he's playing so under control, but at such a high rate of speed. It's cool to watch. But cage was definitely the word of the week last week because Caleb Downs talked about it on Wednesday when I asked him about how do you deal with a quarterback that can do this. If you can keep him from bailing out where he wants to bail out, I hate to say this out loud, he's got to go down with the airplane.
Well, they certainly did a great job, especially late. As convincing as that win was last week, it was still an 8-point game in the fourth quarter, and Julian Sayin had a really nice scramble on a third and long. It enabled Ohio State to pick up a field goal there to make it a 2-score game. And the fact that, on a 4th and 1, a nice little swing pass, and all of a sudden you're up fairly big. But they made, again, this Ohio State team seems to be playing the big plays very big. So I think for the narrative of, yes, they're not just saying, hey, Jeremiah, go beat your guy. The ball will be there. That's not been this offense.
Right.
This offense has been a much different offense. It's been kind of hit it where you need to hit it, and then also take what the defense is giving you, and that's kind of been there. The scary part, I think, for teams is this Ohio State offense is only scratching the surface, and they're doing really well right now. Wait till they hit the ceiling.
Yeah, I do get the feeling that Ryan Day knows if he wanted to air it out with Julian Sayin, he could and win these games. But when your defense is just suffocating people, like, why risk it early in the season with the first-year quarterback? But I'm convinced they're going to eventually unleash Julian Sayin. I think it's going to be tonight right here, Tim, man.
You know what? I was just thinking about this driving in. It's like 1981 or 80 when Mike White brought Illinois in here with the quarterback, Dave. I forgot his last name, but he and Art Schleister engaged in a wild passing derby, which was cool as hell to watch. You could have the same thing if both teams wanted to do it. I think Minnesota's really only shot with their backfield being banged up. Their really only shot is to win it out, air it out tonight. We'll see if Ohio State wants to engage in that same kind of like dogfight. But you got to think back to last week. The negatives were running the same play you ran against Texas when you get down there on the goal line that first time. Washington had seen that on video and ganged up on it, stopped C.J. Donaldson short, and then fumbling the great punt return Brandon Ennis had going for him until the very last second when the ball gets knocked out. Suddenly they don't have a possession. Ohio State only had 6 possessions in that game. That's crazy when you think about the way things used to be just 4 or 5 years ago. So I thought Ohio State made the most pretty much of its chances with a few exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, this team right now is, like I said, just scratching the surface. You mentioned Caden McDonald. That 4th and 2 one-arm sling down
was
a big turning point of the game. And Ohio State is certainly a team that feels like that maybe they can call some shots tonight against a Minnesota team that comes in here, yes, off a win over Rutgers. Big quarterback, not a dual threat guy.
He can run it a little bit.
He can run it a little bit.
He's a little bit like Will Howard, don't you think?
Has
like
he had
a little bit.
I haven't seen any.
He's a slower,
not as good of a runner.
He's a slower version running of Will Howard, but he wants to stand in the pocket. He's 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". He wants to stand there and fling it. And
he reminds me of Will. I mean, obviously he's a redshirt freshman, not the fifth-year senior that we saw in Will Howard. He's not as good as Will Howard.
He's big.
Let's be clear.
I think the thing they have in common is they're both tall. They're not a statue. I agree with that, but it's just funny. He's from downtown Fayetteville, Arkansas, literally, and he's playing for Minnesota. Meanwhile, Sam Pittman's out of a job. Go figure.
Well, he's not the guy they faced last week. I think the three of us can agree on that.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we talked about that on my show this week, and y'all show, I'm sure. Every week is a different test for this defense. It's like you throw away last week's homework because it does you no good today. And with them being shorthanded in the offensive backfield, even if the number one running back does play, he's had a hamstring problem. So they've got a couple of wide receivers kind of coming on, but this is like for them, it's a different assignment also this week.
Lindsey said at their press conference,
as opposed to going against Rutgers.
Yeah, Drake Lindsey said at their press conference this week, he's like, we think we can run the ball against Ohio State. That makes me think he knows his running back's coming back this week. I don't know if they can run the ball against Ohio State. Yeah, but we shall find out.
They were missing their top two guys last week, Darius Taylor and A.J. Turner. They still beat Rutgers 31-28.
Taylor's the real good guy.
So they do come off at least a victory for them. Your kickoff forecast brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus Builders building Columbus lean on green. Looking about 78 to 80 degrees right around kickoff tonight. Very light winds, if any. It will dip into the high 60s in the second half, so it should feel better for you then. We'll come back with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, and set the scene for you. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places right here on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
Our pregame traffic is moving along nicely, just kind of slowly in some spots. Lane Avenue is one of those. Between Kenny Road and High Street, Lane is pretty busy. Also, High Street is busy between 11th Avenue and Lane. The 315 north and southbound ramps to Lane Avenue are very crowded, as is Olentangy River Road between Lane Avenue and King Avenue. And don't forget, Woody Hayes Drive is closed between Tuttle Park and Cannon Drive for game day. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
Did you know Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And just like a veteran quarterback, we've been delivering winning drives for generations right here by the airport. At Byers, we treat every customer like part of the team because that's what keeps us in the game season after season. From tailgates to road trips, we've got the perfect Subaru to get you there. Kick off your next adventure at columbussubaru.com or visit us by the airport. Byers Auto, driving the next generation of buyers. Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, introducing Behind the O, the brand new app packed with original athlete and fan-driven Ohio State sports content. It's free to download in the App Store on iOS and Android, and every time you open it, you're helping generate NIL dollars for your favorite Buckeye athletes with zero cost to you. Get exclusive access to fresh behind-the-scenes videos, training routines, athlete lifestyles, and more from every Ohio State sport. Don't wait. Download Behind the O now and get closer to your Buckeyes than ever before.
Behind the O, free for fans, fans, NIL for athletes.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, and hardwood, even installation supplies. Everything you need for your next project. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Poth Road in Whitehall. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends September 30th. Dealers welcome.
Bobcat Enterprises says thank you for your support as they celebrate 50 years of serving the construction industry. Established in 1975 in Cincinnati, Bobcat Enterprises has expanded to 9 stores to meet you where you are in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Find equipment for any construction project, including compact track loaders and excavators. Plus, Bobcat Enterprises rents compact equipment and attachments. Find current specials and locations at bobcatent.com or follow Bobcat Enterprises Inc. on Facebook. Bobcat Enterprises, 50 years working for you.
Other stations in town have started using AI voices. It's because they're cheap and they think you're stupid. Well, we may think you're stupid, but we don't think you're cheap, damn it. We're live and local with real people. The Fan, Ohio's real human destination. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A hot summer day ahead. Go Buckeyes. Temperatures in the mid to even upper 80s in a few spots with lots of sunshine in the forecast. But we do rebound overnight as we get very refreshing with our lows down into the mid to upper 50s. For Sunday, the dry weather continues and so does the sunshine. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
Bring the energy. It's game day, Buckeye fans. You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Now together to serve you better. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, back on campus with the man. He is Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes. Everybody already worked into a little bit of a lather, literally. 86 degrees out here. So, Paul, welcome back to town. I hope the trip to Washington was good.
It was long.
Yes, I imagine.
But it was good. The result was good.
Yeah. Your biggest takeaway from the game was?
Like everybody, how well the defense played, especially against an offense and a quarterback who could hurt you in so many different ways, and how they just kind of kept that pressure up.
Hey, Paul, like Tim and I are not like rookies. We're dressed like rookies, though. Can you believe this?
No, I know it's going to be like 50 when I leave the press box.
Look at how terrible we are dressed for this weather.
I think we're doing well.
Yeah, this was not a good move either. Here, Dave. So I feel for you. This is a little clingy.
I didn't know this.
People on radio didn't need to think about that, though.
One question I get a lot from fans is like, who's further along than you expected, the offensive line or the defensive line? I'm like, I could make an argument either way, but I'm going to let Big Daddy make the argument.
If had to choose, and I can understand, Dave, why you would be hesitant, I would say the defensive line, only because there was so much talk about the starters that left last year. And with what we saw at the end of the year with the offensive line and the guys coming back and the anticipation that Phillip Daniels and Ethan Onyanwa, because of their experience, that they would help fill some of that, I think there was a feeling that the offensive line was going to be okay. Played as well as they have, now that's a pleasant surprise. But probably the defensive line if you have to choose. But let's not forget, too, that these guys that we're talking about a lot now, even though they weren't starters the last couple of years, they got a lot of reps the last few years, and that's why guys like Jalen Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, Tyleik Williams, Ty Hamilton, why they were able to make plays, because they were fresh late in games.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been telling people. I had Matt Wilhelm on my show this week. I had Archie on yesterday, and Archie Griffin, and I was just saying,
name dropper.
Yeah, name dropper. Yeah,
you don't need to use the last name.
Who needs Reimer when you got me?
I thought Jeff Rimmer retired.
Archie.
Who needs Rimmer when you got me? But the point was, I said, it's fun to watch this defense play. I don't know if it's the same with you or not, but I mean, and they get better every week. Don't you have that sense about it?
Seemingly, and because, Tim, they're seeing the different offenses they've seen. But for what I'm looking at, I'm mostly watching the ball. So it's hard, but when you see, like a couple weeks ago when Caleb Downs came up and played at the line of scrimmage and dropped back, went out of the corner of your eye, you see some of that movement. It's things that you've not seen before.
Arvell Reese creeping up.
Him doing those things. That we haven't seen it other than the one play in the Texas game, the C.J. Hicks move to defensive end. Yeah. Anxious to see how that can influence things some more. But think about the fact that you bring in Matt Patricia, but he molds with all these other coaches, and they do what they're doing. It has been very impressive. Now, it will be more interesting to see as they face more talented offenses, but it's been impressive.
Yeah, but like C.J. Hicks, he drew a double-team block on one of those Caden Curry sacks last week where Curry came up the middle and surprised them all.
And wasn't even touched, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, so they're all contributing, which is, like you just said, I think that is not a surprise, but it's pleasant to see that happen.
At the level they're doing it, yes.
Yeah.
Paul, something I'm looking forward to tonight is the complete, I think, more of an opposite of what they faced last week in DeMond Williams versus Drake Lindsay. Also, he's a young kid coming into this stadium at night. They're going to try to confuse him as much as possible, but they don't have to really truly worry about what they did last week. So how many opportunities for sacks, picks, blitzing tonight do you anticipate?
Well, Anthony, that's going to be the interesting point. And to add to that, what's the status of Minnesota's running backs? Because they've lost their top two the last few weeks. One of them, Turner, is done for the year.
Yeah.
We don't know about Darius Taylor.
Darius Taylor.
Yeah.
Hamstring deal.
Yeah, but they only rushed for 35 yards last week against Rutgers. Now, you have to take sack yardage into consideration of losses. But to your point, Anthony, I think it is going to be more of a pro drop-back passing attack with some receivers and tight ends that really can make some good plays. So that'll be interesting to see. And how his Minnesota's offensive line protected so far seemingly relatively well. But, again, they've not faced a defense like
I just had a name pop back into my head. Dave Wilson was a quarterback for Illinois, and he came in here back in, 80 or 81?
80.
But he and Art Schleister engaged in this ridiculous.
What was that, 60 attempts?
Yeah, it was like crazy. And,
especially back then.
Ask Jim Lachey about it because he was on a recruiting visit.
Exactly.
For that game.
But the point was, if Ohio State wanted to do that, these guys, they could parlay like that, couldn't they? I mean, tonight. I mean, something in me would like to see Julian Sayin get about 40 attempts and see what this offense could really do from a passing standpoint. But I know that's not the way Ryan Day's looking at it.
Well, and what we've seen, and it was, I forget, Dave, if it was you I was talking to or somebody else this week, and I didn't realize until after the fact, they only had 6 possessions in that game last Saturday. So there's some game control going on with all of that. Some of it is to keep the other offense off, lengthening drives, but also to kind of not put your quarterback in a position where he's having to do a whole lot of things that he hasn't done to date. Now he's done more of those now. Yeah. So, maybe you see a little, I don't know that you see it tonight, but there could be games. Yeah.
I was just dreaming more than anything else.
I don't think I've ever seen, Paul, in football, pro, college, going into a hostile environment as the road team and you don't call a timeout the entire game. That says a lot about the game control, Julian Sayin's command of this offense. I want to ask you about Julian Sayin. Like, I'm so impressed with his accuracy and his poise. I go back and forth. I'm more impressed with the accuracy. No, I'm more impressed with the poise. I call it a tie. I'm just so impressed with where he's at after 4 games. I think they're going to unleash him now.
You know what, Dave, I would say the poise. And the reason I would choose that because you saw that week 1. And you continue to see it. For a guy that, last year only played in 4 games and it was all mop-up duty. So that's been the thing that's been impressive. Also the fact that when things haven't gone well, he doesn't seem to get flustered. You saw, some throwaways last week that maybe we didn't see earlier. You saw even previously with a couple interceptions in one game. Didn't seem to get him out of his mode. So it's been impressive to see, but I think it's also he and they taking advantage of the playmakers they have around.
But even the throwaways are examples of poise, not giving it away. And you haven't seen him screaming at guys on the sideline like maybe a couple other quarterbacks we've seen in college football this year. But the thing is, I'm not sure we grasp. I mean, he's the most accurate quarterback in college football to this moment.
That's the part.
Isn't that crazy?
When you look at that, you have to double check it because is that really the case? But, again, I think it goes to what Ryan Day and this offensive coaching staff have done in designing things and keeping the game in the situation they want it to be to minimize risk.
Yeah, and they haven't taken their big, deep shots a lot yet this season, so that's kept them in rhythm.
And I think, Anthony, the one big pass they had, that 80-some yard over the top, that was more than anything, that was a busted defensive coverage. That play should not have gone that long. However, it's what they've been able to do, and it all goes back to what you guys were asking about earlier, the way this offensive line is played.
The other part, I'm sorry, Tim, the other part real fast is maybe the narrative tonight, and I don't think it's going to be that close, but running into this Minnesota defensive line, if they hang their hat on anything, they've tried to do it against the run. I can't gauge whether what they're facing tonight is what they faced before, but that will be a little bit a part of what they hope to do is try to make Ohio State maybe put the ball in the air.
Well, and Rutgers gashed him a little bit last week. Not a lot. Watching that game back, I don't recall off the top of my head Rutgers hitting anything deep with any passing threats. But this is a defensive line that has played very well. Their two main linebackers, I think, are impressive. And they've got some defensive backs. The guy to watch for Minnesota is their safety, Coy Parrish, number 3. They'll use him as a kick and punt returner as well. And they've also thrown some passes to him. So he's a guy that Ohio State wanted very late in the process, but he decided to stay home. So it'll be interesting to see not only how Ohio State goes up against a defense that we're not sure how good they are, we think they're good, but how that defense handles an Ohio State
and how
offense.
that defense
I'm sorry, let me finish my sentence before
I thought you had finished.
I
thought you had finished, man.
Excuse me for letting you interrupt.
He's got a good get-off time.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but it'd be interesting to see how Minnesota deploys defensively, because they like to – a lot of times they like to play that one high safety and go man up on the edges, and unlike last year. And you think that just begs Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate having a night. But the guy I'm watching tonight is Brandon Ennis. I mean, the guy he had some pretty good catches last week. He had the unfortunate fumble on the punt return, but there's a guy that could, I think, really get off tonight.
And that was going to be a very good return, and he hung up the football. But this could be a get-right game for him. Not that it's been bad, but the thing that maybe has kept his stats limited, the use of the tight ends and what they've done all of those things differently. And this could be a game where we could see more tight end usage.
It could be a day or night where we see maybe even more evolution of this offense, right? I mean, Dave's talked about maybe taking the shots tonight. They could be there. Maybe they will be there. Do you think that Ryan Day unleashes a little more than he has?
I'm not sure that any more than what he has, depending on what the game allows. Yeah. The thing also to watch for, too, the one thing we haven't seen yet, maybe not in a big dose, is some nice breakaway runs from these running backs. I think we're still all kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with the running back group, who's going to get a majority of the work, because it seems like Bo Jackson has kind of put himself in that position. But, we haven't seen like the Travion Henderson runs that we've seen against Minnesota when he was a freshman that we saw, last year in the playoffs.
Paul, though, did you were there at the game just like I was. Bo Jackson was the second running back off the bench.
Got 17 carries.
First running back off the bench.
Basically RB1. He just might not start.
Didn't start the game, but I think that's, there
have been signs, to your point.
Yeah. My point is, we're seeing this, right in front of our eyes, right? The evolution of a freshman becoming maybe the featured back. What do you think?
Well, and I think all three of those backs, the great thing they've done is taking care of the football. Yeah. And that's going to keep him in good stead with Ryan Day. But there's something different, Tim. No question about when Bo Jackson has the ball, there is something different.
And the other thing I said before the game on this show, I said I expected him to maybe throw the ball to the backs a little bit. I think backs caught 5 passes last week, which was out of the backfield and stuff. And that's something could grow tonight, right? I mean,
it was an undervalued aspect of what happened in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
So, that's there, and it's going to have to be there.
You think he's conscious at all about maybe not overusing his young running back?
That's possible, Anthony. Yeah. And, we heard him so much last year and repeat it this year, the anticipation of a long season and save the wear and tear on those guys. So it's possible.
Okay. Good luck, man.
Gents, always good to see you.
Great.
Always,
Paul Keels, the voice of the Buckeyes. His segment sponsored by the Waterworks, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, now together to serve you better. All right, He's So Money coming up next. Who will shine in the shoe? We'll tell you. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
We've definitely seen traffic volumes pick up in the last 30 minutes or so. If you're headed in from the north side, 315 southbound is much slower between Ackerman Road and Lane Avenue, especially that right lane. North and southbound 315's ramps to Lane Avenue are getting a lot more crowded. Lane is very slow between Kenny Road and High Street. High Street is crowded from Lane to 11th Avenue. Kenny Road is slow from Lane to Kinnear, and Olentangy River Road is pretty crowded from Lane to King. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
This time of year, it's all or nothing, and Toyota's got all you need during Toyota Truck Month. Now through November 3rd, get 1.75 APR financing or $3,000 customer cash on a powerful new 25 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a 25 Tundra SR Crew Max for $409 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Buckeyes, the 2025 football season is here, and that means three things: football, game day, and smooth Jameson whiskey. Whether you're catching the game at home, at your neighborhood bar, or soaking up the team spirit at a tailgate, Jameson Ginger and Lime and Ohio State Athletics are a winning combo. So cheers to making game days even better with the official whiskey of the fans. Jameson, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Taste responsibly.
Jameson Irish Whiskey, product of Ireland. 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. Copyright 2025, imported by John Jameson Import Company, New York, New York.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
The kitchen drain has had enough. The toilet's called it quits. The faucet in the master bath, it's throwing childish fits.
In a flash, I'm at your door to win your water war. I battle leaks and clogs and drips until I are no more.
Free service call with your plumbing repair.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Columbus, the Blue Jackets schedule is out. And you can lock in your seats with ticket plans starting at just 11 games. Don't miss a moment of the action. Visit BlueJackets.com.
Relationship benefits at KeyBank reward you for things you were going to do anyway, like using your KeyBank checking account 5 times each month. You could unlock higher interest rates, more cash back, and loan discounts. Now, imagine getting rewarded for other things you were going to do anyway, like high-fiving.
Yes.
Calling your mom.
Hello.
Or petting cute dogs. If only. Learn how simple it is to get benefits when opening a checking account at key.com/relationship. KeyBank opens doors. All credit products subject to credit approval. KeyBank, member FDIC.
It's the Closet Systems Kickoff Sale at Design Solutions by Cooper. They design and manufacture customizable storage built to fit your lifestyle and space. From closets to any space in your home, our systems are made to maximize organization, simplify the morning rush, stay organized during back-to-school season, and add value to your home with expert craftsmanship. Schedule a virtual design consultation or find a dealer near you at designsolutionsbycooper.com. Hurry, this is a limited time offer, and your dream closet is just a few clicks away at designsolutionsbycooper.com.
Taking out the trash. Hey Columbus, this is Zach Bourne and Jacoby Bourne. When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
Columbus, the Blue Jackets schedule is out. And you can lock in your seats with ticket plans starting at just 11 games. Don't miss a moment of the action. Visit BlueJackets.com.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week. But not OJ, because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan. This is the Fan's Game Day Scoreboard.
This Game Day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. We are 3 hours away from Minnesota and your number one Ohio State Buckeyes kicking off. But right now we are in a lot of second quarters in this 3:30 slate. One of the shocking ones, number 7 Penn State, they're down 17-7 in Pasadena. UCLA started with an opening touchdown, followed with a surprise onside kick recovery, and they've scored 3 scores on all 3 possessions of their game. Florida with an early 10-0 lead on Texas. Texas just responds with a touchdown, so the number 9 Longhorns are down 10-7 in Gainesville. And how about this one as well? Number 16 Vanderbilt. They were practicing victory formation in the pregame, and they're up 7-0 in Tuscaloosa. Number 21 Notre Dame up 6-0 on Boise State.
Don't it feel good when your crowd behind you? You know what I'm saying?
You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Van. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, back at it. What a party down here. Buckeyes back home, night game, Big Ten game. P.J. Fleck, the former OSU grad assistant back in the day, back in the house. He'll be dressed to the nines, you know that.
Yep.
He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union. We talked about it earlier. Will he unleash the offense early? He did it second half against Washington, opened it up a little bit, and things got cooking. I know people were, clamoring for that a little bit, but he's taking what he's being given right now. But Ohio State certainly has Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. JJ has 2 100-yard receiving games. Tate has 1. Maybe tonight's the night, Dave. You and I are kind of both feeling that.
Yeah, I do feel like they're going to take, however you want to phrase it, the training wheels off Julian Sand. I really don't feel like they had the training wheels on him. Like, they opened it up, in the second half last week, as you said, Anthony. They opened it up against Ohio University Grambling. But so far in P4 games, overall, they've been a little conservative with the passing game. Understandable with the first-year quarterback who's a redshirt freshman. Your defense is just suffocating everybody. But tonight, I think they're going to take their shots. And shots doesn't mean just every time you're throwing the ball 60 yards down the field.
No.
It could be that. It could be just hitting Max Clare down the seam for 15, 20 yards.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of chunk plays from this Ohio State passing offense today.
It could be more operating in between the hashes. They haven't thrown a lot of passes in between the hashes. And meanwhile, this Drake Lindsey kid, they had to unleash him last week or get beat, right? I'm talking about Minnesota did. And he stood in there and threw the ball between the hashes very, very nicely, because that's where you can, in a heartbeat, the game can change with an interception. It's I think the training wheels are off, but it's more like the last couple of weeks they've warned Julian Sand to stay in the neighborhood. When he takes his bike out there. Now he can get out on the highway maybe and let it ride a little bit. Maybe pedal, breaking away. Maybe that could be the theme song tonight. But
cross that busy road and go to the next neighborhood.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, but always walk your bike across. But that's another story. But the way he's shown, the confidence he's shown in himself, but the discipline he's shown in the pocket, and like we talked about a couple of the throwaways last week, which were huge in my opinion, because they kept you from losing the ball instead of taking a chance. I mean, it just shows he's growing up right before your eyes. But I had his coach McNeil from high school on. I've had him on my podcast a couple of times, and he expected him to have this poise, because he said he's shown it ever since he's known him, as far as being cool, the ability. He is not Will Howard. He's not Damon Williams, but he can run. And he has the ability to run. He was considered, as we talked about before, a dual-threat quarterback coming out of Carlsbad, California. So maybe you'll see a little bit more of that, because they're going to load up and try to come after him. You got to believe it. I mean, I watched that Minnesota-Rutgers game, and I don't know how many times I saw Rutgers employ some type of defensive back blitz, late blitz. And was effective sometimes it wasn't. So I would expect them to try to do similar things tonight.
Well, if they load up and come after him like Washington did late in that first half, they got to play ready for him, and they did. That play to Jeremiah Smith underneath,
that was
when
the play,
Washington
man.
brought 7, and he was wide open, and obviously then turned on the afterburner and just cruised right in for a touchdown.
Hey, this
to
guy
make it
can
7-3. It was
don't get in a dart match with a guy that can throw darts. I mean, this guy can flip darts. I mean, falling backwards, and that's what he did on that play, for example.
It's tough to get to him. That's the thing, and that's the key of what he has right now.
Exactly. This offensive line, as Paul was talking about, I think we all expected this offensive line to be good coming into this year with all the experience they had, the guys they brought in from the transfer portal. They've been better than I expected. And a guy like Austin Saravell, who I thought was going to be the starting right tackle, he's never played left tackle in his life before.
Yeah.
Through 4 games, not only has he not given up a sack, gentlemen, he hasn't given up a hurry.
A pressure.
Unbelievable. I mean, Austin Saravell, what he did last year as a redshirt freshman, playing both left guard and right guard, had a couple of starts under his belt. Because Luke Montgomery played a lot, Tegra played a lot. They started the national championship game and throughout the CFP run, but Saravell was the only one playing both of those spots.
One of those stories.
And now he's playing left tackle, and he's playing like one of the best left tackles in the country, Tim May.
One of those great stories that's developing right in front of you is that. And also Luke Montgomery. Who was Luke Montgomery this time a year ago?
Right.
Until they got back and they started, and then even after coming back from the Penn State game, they had to shuffle the line again, of course, after the kid from Alabama got hurt.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin got hurt. And all of a sudden, Luke Montgomery's in there at left guard. Oh, my goodness, they're in trouble. No, they weren't in trouble. He became one of the nasty players in the nation in that 4-game run to the national championship. And now, man, you turn on any video, he and Austin Serveld, they're not just blocking. They're getting theirs.
I
mean,
almost said, like, on my podcast, I was like,
pretty impressive.
I almost said they're Orlando pacing people, but I don't want to. I don't want to offend Orlando Pace. But man, I tell you what, the pancake was invented here, and those guys are trying to live up to that. And Carson Hinsman's another one. Started 12 regular season games as a redshirt freshman. Then he was in the doghouse until he wasn't. Then all of a sudden he was a starting left guard, and then he was a starting center and played his butt off during the CFP run. And Carson Hinsman's playing great right now. So you got those three guys on the left side, including the center, are just playing great. Right guard, they got to figure out who it is. Is it Tegra? Is it Onyeama? Tegra played the entire game last week. Played okay. I love Philip Daniels at right tackle. He needs to clean up some of the penalties.
Yep.
But give me a junkyard dog at right tackle. That's the first guy in there when there's fights in practice. I heard during camp, when there was a fight during practice, Philip Daniels was in the middle of it every time.
I was going to say,
I love that.
That face mask he got called on last week, he got all of that, though. I mean, you know what I mean? You go, hey, my hand's in there already. I'll just hang on. But
might as well get your
you know that this game means a lot to him. We'll see if P.J. Fleck and the defensive staff try to make his life uncomfortable from the terms of a lot of barking going on back and forth. But he does have that mentality about him. That's what you like about this offensive line. It could be one of the nasty units in America.
Yeah, going up against his former team, there's a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's on the right side of things now, man.
About that.
He's on the right side of the game tonight. He's on the right side of the field.
I was thinking about this, too, whatever I was doing, hitting golf balls today. I was thinking about, we keep talking about the other team's great pass rushers the first 4 games of the year, that including the Texas kid, and he didn't have a sack. He got into a barking match with Philip Daniels at one point.
Didn't go well for the Texas guy.
But this team is doing a really good job against the other team's supposed best rushers. I mean, best pressure guys. And I think that's what stood out in the first 4 games. We'll see if that continues tonight.
Well, it'll be a big challenge for the offensive line because Minnesota, like I said earlier, allowing 65 yards rushing per game. Now they got to face this team with Bo Jackson and the rest. So we'll see. The guy to ask about that will be coming up next, and that'll be the former All-American Jim Lachey with us. Stay tuned. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
It looks like Columbus police are restricting traffic on the Olentangy River Road on-ramp to 315 northbound right now, trying to control that flow of traffic. Again, that's the 315 northbound ramp from Olentangy River Road. 315 southbound is moving, but slowly between Ackerman and Lane Avenue, especially to the right. North and southbound 315 ramps to Lane Avenue and Ackerman Road both are very busy right now. Lane is slow between Kenny Road and High Street, and Ackerman Road is slow between Kenny and Olentangy River Road. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
When it's 6 a.m. and you need a skid steer and you want to talk to an actual person about skid steers, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help steer you to the right skid steer at the right price right now. Tracks or wheels, diesel or gas, light, medium, or heavy duty. Plus attachments for loading, grading, digging, drilling, tilling, and trenching. No wonder the Columbus builders building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hi, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Coming up, more football talk on The Fan.
That's right, Bob. And just like our hometown team, Worthington Jewelers is all about tradition, family, and winning moments.
Celebrate your victories with us, your hometown jeweler, Worthington Jewelers.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a refreshing mountain dew. So give me my goodness, give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
We're back to football talk, but before we kick off, a quick thanks to Bob and the team at Worthington Jewelers.
Thanks, Common Man. Whether it's game day or every day, we're here to help you celebrate life's biggest moments.
Worthington Jewelers, your hometown jeweler.
What he said.
Other stations have crappy ratings and they wonder why no one listens. So instead of investing money in local talent, they fire people and plug in AI voices. Gee, real entertainment. Well, all of our dummies are real, damn it. The Fan, Ohio's real human destination. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis and Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your forever flagship home of Ohio State athletics. The Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Ohio State Army ROTC. Leadership starts here. Visit arotc.osu.edu.
All right, beautiful night to get after it. Little football talk with our guy, Jim Lachey. Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you too, Anthony.
Luke Montgomery, offensive player of the game last week. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Tell us about it. Why do you earn that great accolade?
Knockdowns. He played well. His technique was good. He graded out high, and, about time they offered it or, gave it to an offensive line.
That's where I was leading.
That's where it all starts up front. And, he's been getting it done now. I think, if you go back to the last two games last year in the playoffs and what he's been able to do the first four games, he's been physical. He's been good with his assignments. That whole left side has been really good with Austin and Luke over there, Carson at center. But, no, it's really, to see him, all the effort he put in, and, you kind of wondered, when's his time going to come? And his opportunity came last year. He took advantage of it, and now he's starting to thrive and, playing at an all Big Ten level. So hopefully that continues, and, he stays healthy and can continue to bang. But, yeah, it was good to see the offensive lineman get recognized.
Jim, when I saw Austin Saravelt had not given up a sack through the first four games, I was like, wow, that's impressive. Then I saw, wait a minute, he hasn't just not given up a sack. He hasn't given up a hurry. He hasn't given up a pressure. I mean, this young man is so darn impressive. What he's doing is just unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. And, playing the first year at tackle. He's a guy that played some guard, and you thought that, okay, he was going to be, a starting guard coming in because he was able to do off of last year, rotating in, and then when Donovan got hurt, playing a lot more. But to make that switch out to left tackle, and again, you got to credit the coaches. They see him every day in practice. They understand what he can do and what he can't do, and Coach Bowen says, hey, you can be my starting left tackle, and they trained him to be that. And, as we know, he's a hard worker. He lifts. He's strong as can be. He's got good feet. And he took it as a challenge, and he's accepted that challenge and has gone out and dominated it. How do you do it? You got to consistently take great sets. You got to use your hands. You got to be physical. And he's been able to do all of those type of things to become a very good left tackle in the Big Ten. You chronicled several weeks ago when I asked you about that. When you got drafted, you were a guard, and then you got told when Don Coryell picked you up in the car, he told you, "Well, you're going to be our great left tackle." But I wanted to ask you this: what is the big difference mindset-wise for a guard compared to a tackle? And have you seen Austin embrace that?
Well, when you're a guard, you got people around you all the time.
Yeah.
You got a tackle, you got a center, and you got bodies, so that you're not out there in space.
Yeah.
When you go to left tackle, and you're playing left tackle and you have no tight end and you got a guy in a wide 9, it's like you're looking like, wow, that's an easy path. You know what I mean? He's just got to get around me to get there. So it's a little bit, unnerving when you're at the end of the man on that line of scrimmage. You got receivers out wide. You might have a back behind you, which is going to draw more attention, but it's just you got to make sure that because one bad step, you got your head down or something like that, you get your hands knocked down, they can get right by you. So it just takes consistent, every time, trusting your technique to go out there and do it. And it's much like, I would envision if I was a good golfer, hitting it consistently off the tee. You got to, it's all technique, and you got to have, a routine. And you got to trust your technique, and that's one thing that these coaches have really harped on and worked on with Austin over there at left tackle, or any tackle, is that you got to make sure you use your feet and you take good proper steps and no false steps, don't turn your shoulders, all those little things that'll help put you in a position at least to go out there and battle for a few seconds.
You come off as just almost a gentle giant kind of dude. You always have since I've known you. I've known you since you were like 20 or whatever. But what I wanted to ask you is. Did you have to talk yourself into an attitude for a game? And how did that – because Austin comes off as a really kind of a nice guy. Austin Searville does, but he clearly is playing with an attitude when he's between the lines. How do you do that?
You can ask my wife when I was on – Saturdays weren't a day that she wanted to hang out with me. She could tell. Our routine in the NFL, we'd go to a movie on Friday night, have dinner, go to a movie, come home. And by the time I woke up that morning, it was, a case of the Reds, so to speak. I was ready to go, and you just got a short fuse. Your fuse goes boom. Anything like, I don't want to deal with this right now. I got to worry about tomorrow. I got to worry about the game, and that's it. And there'd be times where she'd get tired of me and go, I check in the hotel about 2:00, and I didn't have to be there until 8:00 on a Saturday. So check in, watch some college football on TV. Take a nice, shower and get ready to go for your team meeting and go. But it's a transformation. You really do. You have to start thinking some violent things in your mind, and you got to go out there and study your game plan because, you can be a great player, but if you don't understand what you got to do each and every time, you can get thrown for a loop. So you got to keep going through the game plan, understanding all the checks, all the calls, make sure you're on that, and then communicating with your guard, your center, make sure everybody's on the same page each and every time. But yeah, it's some of the things that you do on the football field you can't get away with in real life.
I was going to say, with Lawrence Taylor out there on the edge trying to embarrass you, that
you got to beat him up, man.
Which, by the way, he never did, right?
Never got a sack off me. No, a lot of guys did, but he didn't.
He is the former All-American Jim Lachey. A segment presented by Ohio State Army ROTC. Leadership starts here. Visit arotc.osu.edu. All right, Jim, let's flip it over to the other side real fast. They're going against a quarterback tonight. Young kid, big kid, and Drake Lindsay. Put it up 41 times, I believe, against Rutgers. So opportunities there tonight for this defense. What do you expect?
And that's atypical what Minnesota P.J. Fleck likes to do. They're a smash-mouth football team. You remember the last time we played up there? I mean, they had 5, 6, 7 offensive linemen on that line of scrimmage trying to pound the football against us with a 290-pound tight end. They were just going to maul people, and they had the ability to do that. And their back end actually hurt his Achilles tendon in that game and kind of switched.
Right.
You know how that goes. With the injuries that they've had, to A.J. Turner out for the year, Darius Taylor, we'll find out if he's good to go tonight. He's been out the last couple games. So they've had to kind of go their second and third guy. And with that, they decided, hey, we're going to, put the game a little bit more on our quarterback. And seemed like it was working out pretty good against Rutgers until, they were down. They came back, close ball game back and forth, and they ended up pulling that thing out there with a 3-point victory. So they found a different formula to win. And I think that's something that, for a young quarterback, gives him some confidence that they trust him, number one, to do that, and then go out there and get it done, and then, have some confidence. But, they got some receivers that can step up and make some plays. Their defense, they got 2 quality defensive ends. I like their linebackers. Baranowski, he's a guy that's been around a little bit last year. Williams, another guy that's a local guy that's played some good football for him. So they got the pieces to get it done. It's just the depth and the crowd noise and all those type of things and all the problems that Ohio State, gives you on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Jim, Caden McDonald is playing at an elite level. If there's a better one tech in the country, I'd love to see him. What are you seeing out of Caden McDonald?
Quick get off. I mean, he flies off the ball. It's like he's shot out of a cannon each and every time he comes off. And a lot of times he's at the guard center's hip before they can even react, and that's too late. I mean, you're turning your shoulders. The offensive linemen are going against him, and then you throw in the power that he has too. He's not only quick, but he's got some power. He's got good upper body strength, strong hands. Playing very, very well inside. Thing is, who's going to be that other D tackle? We saw Malone step into the last couple of weeks. Everybody thought it was going to be, Houston, Edric Houston stepping up and taking advantage of that. He's not really grasped that role. Will Smith has been steady, but they're still, Carter. Maybe Carter will come in here in the second half. Jarquez Carter, but. That's the key, is to have 2-3 guys like we did last year with Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton, TNT inside. Those guys were. That's why you win a championship when you got big guys inside that can dominate.
Another thing, they needed Tywan Malone to come on this year. I was asking about the other day when we had to, did you ever look at yourself in the mirror, give yourself a talk before preseason camp started or whatever? And he just basically said he just stuck with the program. He's much more confident than he was, because he would kind of I think when he played earlier, like last year and stuff, he would make a bad decision or play, and he would get into a funk. Yeah. And now he's just playing ball. You could see it, right?
Yeah, and that's some coaching too. Larry Johnson does a great job. He's 73 years old, but he knows how to develop offensive linemen and
defensive linemen.
Yeah, defensive linemen to go against offensive linemen. Now, he's been really good at that throughout his whole career, and you can see that with these young guys that are starting to step up and play. Caden McDonald, he was, a guy that was that third or fourth guy last year. Now he is the guy, and I think you'll continue to see that as the year goes with some other guys on that defensive line. They'll start taking ownership of what they have to do inside.
Well done, my man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Stay cool up there, hopefully.
Oh, we're in the shade now. It's hot up there about 10 in the morning, and then after the sun goes by, it's fine.
Good deal. He's our guy, Jim Lachey. Good to see you.
All right, good to see you guys.
Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
The former All-American Super Bowl champ with us when we come back. A lot more as we reset a little bit on the task at hand tonight for Ohio State. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
Right now, you can't use the 315 northbound on-ramp from Olentangy River Road. Columbus police are on the scene trying to control the flow of traffic there. Elsewhere, 315 is moving, but slowly in spots, especially in the areas of Lane Avenue and Ackerman Road. Southbound 315 from about the hospital curve to Ackerman has a lot of brake lights right now. Lane Avenue is very, very busy, of course, between Kenny Road and High Street. High Street very busy between Lane and 11th, and Ackerman Road is pretty busy between Olentangy River Road and Kenny Road. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
My girlfriend is vegan. So I don't know why I'm telling you that. I assume she's already told you.
Jimmy Carr is going back on tour with his brand new show, Jimmy Carr Laughs Funny, live at Southern Theater. First show sold out. Late show added on October 8th. Get tickets now at Kappa.com.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota's got more all-wheel drive choices than anybody. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corolla gas models. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $209 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
You are a very important person. You show up, put in the work, and bring your best to each and every day. It isn't always glamorous or easy, but it's worth it because you're building a life for yourself and those you love. That means a lot, and so do you. When you open an account at Park National Bank, you get more than you might expect. Your own personal banker and the VIP treatment you deserve. Park National Bank, where you mean more. Member FDIC.
The Ohio State University Army ROTC isn't just a curriculum. It's more than just a path to a degree. For more than 150 years, we have been forging tomorrow's leaders. Here you will find your purpose, your mission, your ROTC family. At Ohio State, you're not just joining Army ROTC, you're stepping into a history of excellence that spans generations. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu. Buckeyes lead the way.
Take it out to
trash. Hey, Columbus, this is Zach Bourne.
And Jacoby Bourne.
When it comes to waste service, you want a team that knows how to deliver under pressure, just like Saturdays in the fall.
At Bourne Brothers Waste Services, our team is built on toughness, teamwork, and consistent execution.
We're the most reliable and customer service-focused waste company in Central Ohio.
Whether it is recycling, trash, construction waste, roll-off containers, front loads, or compactors, we have it handled.
Call now or visit BourneBrothers.com and let us tackle your waste needs.
Taking out the trash.
What's better than cheering the Buckeyes on to victory? Wearing our exclusive collection of OSU jewelry as you watch. Hi, this is Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We're an officially licensed jeweler of The Ohio State University, and we've created beautiful Buckeye jewelry that will last a lifetime. From Blocko earrings to Diamond Script Ohio necklaces, we've got luxury Buckeye gifts starting at $99. No matter where you're watching, show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
My girlfriend is vegan. Sorry, I don't know why I'm telling you that. I assume she's already told you.
Jimmy Carr has gone back on tour with his brand new show, Jimmy Carr Laughs Funny, live at Southern Theater. First show sold out. Late show added on October 8th. Get tickets now at Kappa.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartemus, just 2.5 hours away. Minnesota at #1 Ohio State from the shoe. And we're finishing up the first halves of those 3:30 games. We got Penn State in some serious trouble out in Pasadena. 0-4 UCLA has a 24-7 lead. It's looking like that's going to be the score heading into half. We do have 15 seconds left. Florida also giving Texas everything that they can handle. Florida has a 19-7 lead over the number 9 Longhorns. And I told you that Vanderbilt was practicing victory formation in the pregame warmups. They're tied at 7 in Tuscaloosa, and they're driving, approaching the red zone. Notre Dame just scored, so they're up 14-7 on Boise State. And number 24, Virginia, is tied at 14 with Louisville following their win against Florida State last week.
That was one hell of a game, huh? Start ringing that victory bell. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
All right, it is a Solo Cup Saturday here on The Fan. That's what I call them. That's what my friend Bobby Carpenter calls them. That's what you guys should be calling them. And we're here, ready to go. Good to see you, my man.
It's good to be here. Good to be seen. Better to be seen than viewed.
That's right. I love that. And that is absolutely
We're viewing Penn State right now, by the way.
Ooh, they are in trouble. I'm sure in your lifetime of playing, you've had games where you felt you overmatched your opponent and maybe didn't give every last intense look at them. So is that what's going on, you think?
I believe probably all three of you gentlemen were here in 2005 after a very tough loss to the University of Texas. We played San Diego State the following week.
Yep.
San Diego State had some players. They were putting guys in the NFL, 4, 5, 6 guys, like mid-round, good players. And the first play of the game on defense, they ran a bubble screen after a touchback, 80 yards, untouched. And they put it in now, granted, they only had about 187 yards on the whole day.
Yeah, right.
And that was about half of them, maybe 167 or something. But they put that in as the worst play in Ohio State history. Like, we had guys getting cut, bad angles, loafing, and then they're like, looked at us, they're like, listen, the Texas game is done. Yeah. Let's go win this one. And we took care of business, ended up winning, I think, 40-7 or whatever it was.
They got their Kodak moment.
But you've got to, there's some point, Roth, we always say, like, you get the wake-up call.
That's right.
No matter how hungover you were from the night before, eventually the super soaker in the face should get you, and you should pop out of bed ready for action. And I think Penn State, there's laying there, just they can't get out of that animal house, Coach.
What's in that super soaker? Jeez, I might have some bourbon in there.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes maybe it's bleach, maybe it's rubbing alcohol, maybe it's
Jack Daniels.
Some Jack Daniels.
I'm telling you.
Sometimes you got to get back on.
Hey, Bobby, what do you like most about this football team 4 games in that is just jumped out at you that you know is pretty good, but I know you're going to say defense. I'm past that. I'm talking about from an individual basis or just something they're doing that deeper into the year they're going to be even better doing it, or he's going to be even better doing it.
I heard a man once say, the best part about being 4-0 is the chance to go 5-0, Tim.
Yeah.
So that's a big piece of it. But individually, what I like is the offensive line, the physicality of it. And they posted this thing out. You have 4 guys who are starters from the state of Ohio, and Carson Hinsman is Wisconsin. So I'd say that's a regional offensive line.
The son of a dairy farmer.
He's an adopted Ohio.
Yes, like I always say, there's Ohio and Ohio adjacent. Like he is, the scene, and as it was poorly portrayed, by the Baylor coach. What's his name?
The what coach?
The Baylor coach.
Dave
Aranda at the Big 12 Media Days like 2 years ago when he's talking about the Wall Street thing. One of us. And I think Carson Hinsman, he's one of us. And this is a guy who I always point out to where in an era now where things didn't go my way, hop in the portal. He gone.
Yeah.
Listen, he got benched, grinded through last year, and then ultimately he gets the ultimate redemption. Kind of akin to Cardell Jones, who gets benched the day before Braxton's shoulder falls off his body, and JT gets the start, but then you need him later. Carson became that guy you needed, and honestly, I think he's the best center in the country now.
He may win the Remington Award. That's crazy.
It's wild from a guy that was going to be benched, and he's surrounded by guys who Luke Montgomery didn't probably play as early as he wanted. Austin Saravel, he's a good player. Austin Saravel is one of the best. You can take PFF for what it is, and I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all, but he's one of the highest graded left tackles. And they're like, well, can he play right tackle? I don't know if he's athletic enough to do that. And then next thing you know, he's starting at left tackle. Yeah. And so this offensive line, they've kept clean pockets. But last week, people were kind of disappointed. They want the big plays up and down the field. To go into I think Washington's going to be an 8 or 9 win team. To go in there and to be able to run the ball, dictate tempo, never feel like you were out of it. And the only reason they were even in it at all was the fact that you gave them the ball and had some opportunities.
And the goal line stand at the beginning. Yeah.
Running the football, when you can do that, this is probably one of the best offensive lines we've had in quite some time. And it's all kind of built within, and it's fantastic to see.
Bob, this defense, despite losing 8 starters, all of which were NFL draft picks, all of them were 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or 5th round picks. No one was 6th or 7th. All 8 of them are drafted. You lose your defensive coordinator. Dare I say, I think Ohio State's defense is better this year, and I'm kind of losing track of which first-year starters playing better between Caden McDonald, Caden Curry, Arvell Reese, and others. I'm so impressed with this defense, Bob.
So as we talk about guys that could leave, like Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson sitting there, and especially Caden. You look at what he's done this season, where they've moved him. I mean, this guy's came in as an edge, plays some end. They get in the nickel packages. The guy's playing nose tackle. He's playing 3 technique and playing them really well, I might add. 5 sacks on the year. The versatility and just the unselfish nature of those guys up front. That's what's truly amazing to see. And in an era where people say, well, guys don't stay, they're this or that. I'm like, those guys stayed. And they stayed because they had a great relationship with their coach. People have invested in them, and they love being at Ohio State. And they know that this is the place that will ultimately make them the best players that they can be. And so, Arvell's been fantastic. Caden has been fantastic. You look at what those guys have done, but those guys are built, and Caden, he's at Ohio adjacent. He's an Indiana kid. This isn't some kid from Florida. Not that there's a negative stigma on that, but I always tell people I love the guys that are regionally from here, because it means something. I think it means just a little bit more when you've seen it, when you've been around it, when you've experienced it your whole life.
Yeah, but you like Kenyatta Jackson too when he made that play, even though where he's from, right?
Coach Kenyatta is the box. He is the box checker. All the traits that you need, check. He's got them.
On the airplane, you want him getting off first.
Oh yeah.
But Caden Curry in particular.
I'm standing there. I want Arvell getting off first. Actually.
Well, yeah, but I'm standing down there.
But here's the thing: I have to listen to all these people. And recruiting matters. Don't get me wrong. Stars matter. Arvell Reese.
Yes.
I mean, people were beating down the door to get a 6'3", 210-pound linebacker / end, but he came in here, and that's a testament to him. And the one thing you have a hard time measuring is how hard is someone who's willing to work to get better.
Right.
Arvell has worked his butt off. He's a really smart kid. He's studied the game. And now you watch a guy that's plays on the ball, plays off the ball, coverage, rush, run fit. He can do it all. and he's doing it all at a really high level.
You have you do national stuff and stuff too, and I'm just wondering, what is the chatter you're hearing from your buddies on some of these other places? Are they surprised by what Ohio State is doing? I'm asking that almost rhetorically because I listened to one of your shows the other day, and I think they're still coming to grips with how good this defense can be.
I love, like, two of my favorite all-time Buckeyes. Sound like Urban Meyer, all-time favorites.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I love Lathan Ransom. I love Cody Simon. They are everything you want in a football player. But you look at the guys that come in, you look at Jalen, and you look at Arvell, like, they're better athletes. And both of those guys would admit that. And so I said this I was sitting there as July, and I look over some of the Woody. I go, I don't want to, like, jinx this defense, but I go, they're less experienced, but they might be more talented.
Yeah.
Like, they had some really good guys, smart players. Like, on Cody Simon's best day, some of the things that Arvell Reese does, those are dreams. Like, you watch him swatting a tackle away, running down a 4-4 quarterback. Like, those are things that, like, he can do that very few humans can.
This is the Toyota Fan Tailgate Show presented by Mountain Dew, visiting with the former Buckeye linebacker Bobby Carpenter. Let me get a quick X and O from you tonight. I don't think it's going to be a massive deal tonight against Minnesota. However, with this big quarterback, and I'll put you back in uniform for a second, the difference between a quarterback that does is Drake Lindsey, the Drake.
Let's call him the Drake.
The Drake.
The Drake.
The play action that comes very deep in the backfield, so deep, versus a play action, it makes a linebacker make a different decision later. Is that tougher?
So play action's a funny thing. If you're not really running the ball, does the play action work that well?
It shouldn't. But
you look at what they did against Rutgers, they only had 18 rushes. Like, this team wants to run the ball, but since their starting running back has gotten hurt, they haven't really been able to do it. You look at the first game to now, they went from like 40 rushes, 35 passes. I believe against Rutgers, it was 18, maybe 20. I think it was 20 minus the sacks. It was 18. Yeah. So Drake Lindsey's really good. He gets the ball out of his hand quick. They throw a lot of quick game. They do some of that deep play action, but they're doing deep play action against Rutgers. Yeah. Okay, Ohio University was able to move the ball against Rutgers. I don't think you're going to be able to do that. And then also, if you can't run it, this D-line, this front, they're going to tee off, and they're going to get it going. They've got a good plan. The one thing you will see, I think you're going to see a lot of three linebacker sets tonight with Peyton Pierce, because they're not just 11 personnel with three wide receivers and one tight end. They'll go two tight ends. They've got my man Bierman. He plays fullback, number 44, so they'll get in some two tight end, two back, one tight end, some more traditional stuff. So you'll see some of that tonight as well.
Yeah.
All right.
And they were tossing last week. They were behind. They had to throw a little bit more.
Both of Minnesota's fans just came by.
But their running backs are in tough shape.
Thank you for both of Minnesota's fans for coming by.
I think that's PJ's parents.
They wanted to get a good look at Tabiddle here.
They wanted to yell. I mean, there you go.
They want to get a good look at Tabiddle or Tabiddle.
You can get a good look at a T-bone.
Got two of them right there.
Thanks, my man. Enjoy.
You kicking me out of here, Rob?
Well, no, we're not kicking you out, but I got to get to commercial break, and I wanted to give the band their due.
Oh yeah, let it marinate.
Yeah, let it breathe.
Let me think of, how do you think the marination is going underneath those suits? The black right now, just 85 and
here's what you want. You want their dry cleaning ticket. That's what you want. You want their dry cleaning contract.
What about the fur hat, Bob?
I know people that love
just bottles in the heat, that hat.
Oh, this lock sucks in the flavor right there.
Yeah,
you know,
does.
You want to get it's a good scratch and sniff for you, Rothman, like the inside of the Brutus head.
My goodness. Put on a pair of white gloves and you got it all.
Hockey locker room.
All right, there they are, the best damn band in the land. Kickoff forecast brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals. See why the Columbus Builders building Columbus lean on green. 78 degrees at kickoff. We'll dip into the high 60s tonight in the second half as we anticipate a fun Saturday night, a Solo Cup Saturday here at the Shoe. We come back and tell you where the smart money is with Scotty Vegas next on the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
It looks like the on-ramp from Olentangy River Road to northbound 315 has reopened, so there's some good news. We have very slow conditions on Lane Avenue. It's pretty much bumper to bumper between Carmack and Summit. Olentangy River Road is crowded from Ackerman to King Avenue. High Street, very slow from north of Lane Avenue to 5th Avenue. And we just had an accident reported. It's on Indianola between East 15th and East 16th. Watch for flashing lights in that area. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Did you know Byers Airport Subaru is the oldest Subaru retailer in the entire country? And just like a veteran quarterback, we've been delivering winning drives for generations right here by the airport. At Byers, we treat every customer like part of the team because that's what keeps us in the game season after season. From tailgates to road trips, we've got the perfect Subaru to get you there. Kick off your next adventure at columbussubaru.com or visit us by the airport. Byers Auto, driving the next generation of buyers.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you're a sports card fan like me, you've got to check out Midwest Cards in the Arena District, right outside Nationwide Arena. These guys are true collectors themselves, and they've built a shop that lets you experience card collecting in a whole new way. They've got sealed boxes, packs, single cards, signed memorabilia, and plenty of TVs in their lounge. Yeah, they have a lounge. And don't forget the card bar, where you can open packs while you have an adult beverage. It's awesome. Stop by Midwest Cards today and tell them T-Bone sent you.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys. Or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $279 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, and hardwood. Even installation supplies. Everything you need for your next project. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Poth Road in Whitehall. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends September 30th. Dealers welcome.
Common Man and Timmy.
I say neat. You say neat and lousy. Lousy?
I don't think I've ever said lousy in my life other than just saying it to you like this.
Lousy's good.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A hot summer day ahead. Go Buckeyes. Temperatures in the mid to even upper 80s in a few spots with lots of sunshine in the forecast. But we do rebound overnight as we get very refreshing with our lows down into the mid to upper 50s. For Sunday, the dry weather continues and so does the sunshine. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Bring the energy. It's game day, Buckeye fans. You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
All right, welcome back. Tailgate Saturday. Frivolity at its finest. And we have Scotty Vegas with his handicapper of the stars. My man, good to see you.
Good to see you, and I got to tell you, this afternoon is shaping up to be one of the weirdest college football afternoons,
That's
right?
going to be my first question to you.
I mean,
crazy.
so this Penn State score, I'm just going to start out with this. Penn State was a 24.5-point favorite in this game, and they're down big.
At UCLA.
And UCLA was 11-1 on the money line to win this game. And guys, It's funny because you know what the most bet on side of the day was. There's two. Number one was Texas minus 5.5.
Wow.
They're in big trouble at halftime. And then second most bet on side today was Penn State. And they're not covering 24.5.
I'm 1 out of 2 there. I did bet on Florida because I am fading Arch big time. They were saying, well, he came around against Sam Houston. Sam Houston got blown out against like New Mexico State.
Yeah.
It's like, but I also bet on Penn State today thinking, okay, this is a good get-well game for them. UCLA's terrible. It's a fast track at the Rose Bowl. UCLA has like an interim head coach. I could not have been more wrong.
So going into today's game, UCLA was 0-4. Didn't have a lead in a game all season long. Not a 3-0 lead. They were 0-4. And by the way, they weren't playing great teams. I watched them get killed by New Mexico at home. I mean, they just got destroyed. They looked like one of the worst teams in the country.
Yep.
UCLA did. And now look at what they're doing to Penn State, there's a lot of people who have Penn State national championship tickets out there.
Absolutely.
Not anymore. Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah,
they have it.
Yeah.
I thought one of the safe wagers, although I don't wager today, would have been Georgia at Kentucky, Georgia bouncing back. Do you agree with that? But it's funny. We're here. The day is halfway done. Usually we're talking to you at like 10 in the morning.
I know.
And
right?
people are hanging on every word you're saying.
Well, for Buckeye fans, it's interesting to look at opponents that Buckeyes that they've already played and how they perform going forward. So today is a crazy day because you got Texas down 9 at the half, right? So they're in trouble against Florida. You had OU lose to a horrendous Ball State team. OU was a 14-point favorite and lost that game outright.
Horrible.
By the way, Washington, who we all talked about last week, all the buzz about Washington.
Yeah, but
they're down 2 scores.
But they played Ohio
You called
State.
that last week on the money, Scott. You said they're coming all the way across the country. Maryland is like a huge underdog, not huge, but a touchdown underdog at home.
Maryland playing well.
You called it. Maryland's got a really good freshman quarterback. All right, let's look at the Ohio State line today. So Ohio State's favored by 23.5.
Yep.
I picked the Buckeyes to win by 31. The over-under is 42.5. I like Ohio State covering the 23.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't see how Minnesota gets to double digits, right? Like, so in the odds today,
big play
over/under team total. So you can bet, college football games a lot of different ways. One of the things that I looked at was how many points does Vegas think Minnesota's going to score today? And they had the over/under number at 9.5. And we know through 4 games, Ohio State's giving up about 5 points a game. And with Minnesota, they I have a hard time seeing them score enough to keep this within that 24-point spread. I would be surprised. I like predicting scores for the game. I'm somewhere like 42-10.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. I mean, but that doesn't count. You don't take into account, like you're talking about, you don't take into account slippage. A guy slipping on a play, because they're going to bombs away a few times in this game just to try to make it a game. I'm talking about Minnesota.
It's the way they could get into the end zone is if he can sling it into the end zone, because I don't anticipate Minnesota getting in the red zone and pounding it in against Ohio State. Listen, Washington was the offense we were somewhat concerned about, or at least respected, and they held them to basically nothing. So now, we got hurt last week because Ohio State didn't score the way we thought they would score, and also that did not even get close to the over. That thing was a dud, and it just kind of...
And we knew that halfway through the first quarter, right? When Ohio State went down to the 5-yard line and got stopped on 4th and 1, you and I looked at each other like, well, there goes the over.
Well, and then they fumbled the punt, and then the first half
after the
got
first
away
quarter.
from them.
But Ohio State's
went the double over.
Ohio State has actually had really slow starts, right? So at halftime against Texas, it was 7-0, right? Ohio State 7-0.
Yeah.
Against OU, it was 13-3.
Yeah.
So they only had 13 points at the half against OU. And then obviously last week against Washington, you only had 7 points at the half. So it has been kind of a slower starting offense for Ohio State.
Who do you like? Miami, Florida State. Where are you hanging there?
So to me, that one has been hovering around 4 points.
Yeah,
it's not a game that I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take Miami on the money line on it just to win outright. But again, this has been such a weird day. It has been a day where you have just results that make no sense. Right? You come into a college football Saturday and you look at the slate and you're like, there's a lot of okay football games, but nothing that crazy, nothing that interesting. And then you see a score like this Penn State score, and it just makes the Saturday great, right? So I mean, for me, for the night game, I'm going to take Ohio State minus the 23.5. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the play. I'm going to take Texas A&M because I think they bounce. I think they bounce Mississippi State very easily tonight. That spread's about 16.5. And like Dave said, I was all over that Maryland against Washington because of the traveling across the country. But Anthony, you and I talk about this all the time.
Every year.
You play Ohio State, and then the very next week you have to get back up after playing that huge matchup against Ohio State. So,
and go all the way across the country.
Yeah.
It's just the physical and emotional toll it takes on teams that are lesser than Ohio State to ask them to try to get up the next week and either cover a spread or win. is difficult. And you're right, that was a good spot.
One thing to keep an eye on, too, is Big Ten championship odds. So you can bet those live, right? And believe it or not, guys, Ohio State is not the favorite to win the Big Ten championship right now.
Oregon?
It's actually Oregon. Now, it's very close. It's Oregon plus 165, Ohio State plus 175. And a lot of that is based on schedule, right? Because you look at what Oregon has left, and it would be a shock if Oregon doesn't make it to the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State has a little bit more of a tougher road. But that's interesting that Ohio State plus 170. If Penn State were to lose today, which it looks like they probably will, to UCLA because they're down so much, then I think that value comes back on Ohio State.
Does that mean that Oregon is the favorite to win the national title?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
It just means conference.
Who
In
is
fact, Ohio
the favorite to win the national
Ohio
title?
State is still 5-1, Oregon 6-1. But conference-wise, Oregon is slightly better as far as the odds go. Plus 160, Ohio State plus 170.
So speaking of Ohio State's tough road, like I didn't think Michigan was going to be very good this year. I didn't think they were going to suck. I thought they'd be better than last year, even though I know what happened here last year. But I didn't think they'd be very good. They're better than I thought. But today they were favored by 17.5 at home against Wisconsin. They won 24-10, but they looked a little shaky. They're very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
They're a good running team. They're a good defensive team. But, man, I know anything can happen in one game. But, like, man, a one-dimensional offense against this Ohio State defense, I'll be somewhat confident.
It's early.
Ann Arbor, but, like, we'll see. But they didn't look that good today, but they've been better than I thought overall.
So one of the first things that I do on Saturday mornings is I look up the most bet teams, most bet on sides. Because I'm telling you, if you do it 3 to 5, 4 to 5, the less bet on team is going to cover. Oh, these are the 5 today. I'm just going to give these out. 5 most bet on sides. Texas minus 5.5 was the most bet on. You have Vanderbilt plus 11.5, Miami minus 4.5, Iowa State, which lost, plus 1, and Michigan 17.5. So you already have 3 of those that are in big trouble or have already lost.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to start your day. Look at the most bet on teams and maybe go the opposite.
I got a buddy of mine that he bets a lot on a Costa Rican site.
Okay.
I just want to throw this example out there to you. Last week, their guy, the guy they thought would be the leading rusher for Ohio State was James Peoples. 38 yards over or under and stuff. Sure. And, wow, everybody needs to discover that site, right?
I was going to say, that was muy bueno.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the player prop situation because obviously you cannot
do that in Ohio.
You cannot legally do prop bets on players. However, and this is what I think is interesting, player props you can't do individual games, but you can still do the Heisman Trophy. And we've talked about this week by week by week, which is a player prop, basically, right?
Sort of, yeah.
It's a player award for the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we talked about how this Heisman race is so weird because you have a different leading candidate week by week by week by week. It's someone new every single week, it seems. Right now, Dante Moore. And, Anthony, you called this last week on the show. You said, okay, if you're live betting the Heisman Trophy and you see that Oregon is looking to beat or is doing well against Penn State, Dante Moore is the guy to have, right? And so now he's leapfrog Mendoza as the favorite. I still think that Jeremiah Smith, if you look at these next 3 games, you got Minnesota, Illinois, which doesn't have a good defense, and then Wisconsin.
Right.
I feel like Jeremiah Smith has a chance to put up big-time numbers. He's now 10-1 to win the Heisman. I still think that that's okay value.
And he certainly could.
Yes.
But you need to maybe go talk to Brian Hartline and Coach Day about that. Because what you're going to get back is, we're trying to win the game, sir.
Sure.
And it's not about winning somebody the Heisman. Now, he could get it, and tonight he could score 3 touchdowns and be right there of what you're saying. But it doesn't seem like their motivation right now is to turn him into a human highlight reel.
And obviously
next week, Mendoza and Moore.
Right. Now
and Oregon. That's going to be an interesting game to watch.
That is going to be spectacular. And everybody had Penn State written in as 100%. Oh, they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Think about this. If they lose to UCLA, they now have 2 losses, one of which is to a horrendous team in UCLA. They would have to beat, absolutely have to beat Indiana, or they are completely gone.
Yeah.
And they have to beat Ohio State. So now the margin of error for Penn State, anybody who did those parlays of teams to make the playoffs, I guarantee just about everybody had Penn State in that parlay.
Well, listen, they can come back. They're down 20. It's not an easy task, but They could do it.
That's sure.
And Texas certainly could come back and beat Florida. They're only down, what are they down, 12 at half?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Penn State just fumbled to start the second half. So it's 27-7 UCLA. Penn State lost a fumble less than a minute into the third quarter.
By the
UCLA
way,
ball.
Alabama is in a battle with Vanderbilt, too, which would give them loss number 2. What a wild and crazy playoff race.
Vanderbilt's not even going to win. It's going to win big, remember?
That's right.
Diego.
So we're going to get it tonight. We're going to get the over. We're going to lay the 23.5.
So the over-under on the game is about 43.
42.5, 43.
I think there's a chance Ohio State gets that on their own.
On their own.
I like I said, I see it as a 42-10.
Yeah, they may need to.
Yeah.
Because
now, Minnesota, obviously, great running back, right? But he's been banged up throughout the year. If, the situation for them, I just don't see how they score. Right? So I would be a little bit nervous on taking the over because I could see it being 42-0.
Absolutely. Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you.
All right, that is Scotty Vegas, handicapper to the stars. We come back with keys to the game next on the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
There's an accident being taken care of on Indianola Avenue between East 15th and East 16th. That's the only major trouble spot right now. Otherwise, it's just heavy volumes. Lane Avenue from Carmack to Summit, very crowded. Olentangy River Road is very slow from Ackerman to King. High Street is slow from north of Lane to 5th Avenue. And don't forget, with it being a game day, Woody Hayes Drive is closed between Tuttle Park and Cannon. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Tailgates are better when your ride's rocking. Columbus Car Audio and Accessories upgrades your sound, tints your ride, and adds the extras to make your ride the ultimate game day machine. Buckeyes, the 2025 football season is here, and that means 3 things: football, game day, and smooth Jameson whiskey. Whether you're catching the game at home, at your neighborhood bar, or soaking up the team spirit at a tailgate, Jameson Ginger and Lime at Ohio State Athletics are a winning combo. So cheers to making game days even better with the official whiskey of the fans. Jameson, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Taste responsibly.
Jameson Irish Whiskey, product of Ireland. 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. Copyright 2025, imported by John Jameson Import Company, New York, New York.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale with same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. It's football season, and just like on the field, success starts with the right game plan and the right team. That's why I'm proud to team up with Monogram Homes. They're the true custom home builder, bringing precision, creativity, and attention to every detail, just like we do on Saturdays. If you're ready to build, don't settle for standard. Go custom. Go Monogram. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Score big with Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Sound, style, and upgrades for every ride. Visit us today and kick off this season the right way. Columbus Car Audio and Accessories. Drive it, show it, rock it.
Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day. My sinks gurgle, they barely drain. The toilet overflowed. I plunge all day with no luck. What's wrong with this commode?
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee.
It's 93 or free. Guaranteed.
Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
Round here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through November 3rd, get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 RAV4. Or 5.75 on RAV4 Hybrid, excludes plug-ins. Or lease a gas-powered RAV4 LE for $309 a month for 36 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors.
KeyBank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall. Looky here, guys. The Grove City Smoking Hot Wing and Music Fest is back for year 3, Saturday, October 4th at American Nitro. I'm excited. We're talking cold beer, killer wings, live music all day, football on the big screen. It all supports Ghosts of War, helping veterans in need. So veterans and military, you're in free, baby. Get your tickets at americannitro.com/wingfest. Brought to you by The Fan, Columbus Chamber, Martin Painting, T-Mobile, and Greenscapes. Wingfest, flavor, fun, and football. What more do you need?
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday mornings starting at 6. Or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
This game day update is sponsored by Mutual Federal, proudly serving Columbus with personal and business solutions at mutualfederal.com.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. We're now just 2 hours away from number 1 Ohio State hosting Minnesota, and we are at or around halftime for that 3:30 slate. Number 7 Penn State, we've been telling you about it. They are still in trouble in Pasadena. They're down 27-7. UCLA, what a time for them to have their best game of the season. They're 0-4. Florida doing kind of the same thing to number 9 Texas. Florida's up 19-7, started the third quarter there. And we're at halftime in Tuscaloosa. Number 10 Alabama, number 16 Vanderbilt, both tied at 14. Number 21 Notre Dame, they have a 14-7 lead over Boise State. Although Boise State is driving a little bit, so we'll see what comes of that. And in Big Ten action elsewhere, we got Washington down 13-0 to Maryland at halftime.
Don't it feel good when your crowd behind you? You know what I'm saying?
You're listening to the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time for the keys to the game.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, Buckeyes just made their walk from the Blackwell into the Skull Session. Buckeye Nation out in force. My advice, talc up. It's 88 degrees out here, and it is a summer swelter. It will cool down a little bit in the second half tonight, but boy, this is not the fall football weather we expected, but they're going to play Saturday night in the Shoe, and that is always special. Keys to the game, as we talked about, are sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Talked about this quarterback, Drake Lindsey, not a true dual threat, so different than last week, but a big kid, 6'5", 230. He's going to throw it. They're going to take their chances. That deep play action that I talked to Carpenter about, I think is real. He is right. It's only very real if the running game is doing something against Ohio State. But I do expect P.J. Fleck to try to take his chances. It's very hard to matriculate all the way into the end zone against this defense. You got to try to throw it in there. So I think part of the key to the game for me will be that pressure on the quarterback and for the defensive backs to keep everything in front of them.
And P.J. Fleck, if he is in a game that he's expected to win, will be very Tressel-like. He learned from Tressel here in 2006, so he'll be very conservative. P.J. Fleck, when he's an underdog, will pull out all the stops. So Expect the unexpected tonight. Drake Lindsey, a very talented redshirt freshman quarterback. His best days are obviously ahead of him. He's never seen anything like this tonight. So I think Ohio State, one of the keys is they have to make him uncomfortable. Does that mean sacks? It could mean sacks. It just could mean pressuring him, make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, just like the approach in similar ways is what they did to Arch Manning in the opener, is give him things he's not used to looking at. He's supposedly very quick, and we'll find out how quick he is in terms of assimilating what's in front of him there defensively and stuff. But then harass him best you can from the inside out, because last week it was mainly to keep the guy from going outside on him, make him go inside. This is the opposite of that. Harass him from the inside out and make him move a little bit. So I'm sure that's part of Ohio State's defensive game plan, is to get after him with just 5 guys if you can manage it, 4 if you can really manage it, and just play, give him confusion in the secondary. So, we make these guys to be pretty good, and they are pretty good. I'm talking about when Ohio State goes against Damon Williams, for example, last week. But, man, with rare occasion, did he ever get into what he wanted to get into in terms of running that offense. It'll be the same thing today because Ohio State made a really considered quality offensive game plan, passing game plan by Texas look quite pedestrian in the opener. That's as close as you can get to what they're going to see tonight in terms of, I think, their approach. Talk about Minnesota's approach.
Dave, I think they can, listen, he can keep it simple tonight and still win. I think we all believe that. But maybe a key to the evolution of this team would be to open up the passing game a little more tonight.
That's exactly right. Like, I feel like that's exactly what Ryan Day was thinking against Texas and last week. He's like, yeah, I could open it up, and maybe they would have if they needed to.
Yeah.
You look back at C.J. Stroud's redshirt freshman year in 2021, they were airing it out because they had to. They had to demote their defensive coordinator a few games into the season because the defense was so bad.
Yeah.
So Ryan Day's looking at it, he's like, not only do I have a redshirt freshman quarterback, I believe in him. Obviously believe in the right wide receivers. We could air it out, but why take the chance? Well, tonight, I know he could win either way, and Anthony and Tim, I think they will air it out tonight.
I think they will air it out. What's your definition of air it out is, right? True. 25 passes could be airing it out against this team. That's what I'm saying. But I think there are going to be opportunities. Like last week, Washington did a great job of just putting like an umbrella over the top and saying you're not going to get the easy one. You're going to have to throw underneath. And I thought Ohio State picked that apart as the game went along. I'm not sure Minnesota wants to play that way. And the other thing, like you just said, Anthony, is what's Minnesota got to lose?
Right.
Just come in and, let her rip.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, coaches may not think that way.
They've got a wide receiver named Smith.
That's true, but I feel like, some coaches, they lean into that eventually. But usually what happens is a coach comes in and says,
right,
I want to lose the game in the first quarter.
Right.
So it's like they'll take their swings later when they can. But I agree with you. He's one of those guys that could. I keep talking about their quarterback. He's a young guy. He hasn't seen this place. He hasn't had this experience. But he can throw it, and they'll try to do it. If Washington did anything against Ohio State last week, it was they hit him up in the seams. They hit him up in that zone.
A few times. And then Ohio State closed those seams. I mean, it really did. And plus, the pass rush was ridiculous for Ohio State last week. Caden McDonald, 2 sacks. Caden Curry, 3 sacks. It was on another level. You could see it. I was standing like 10 feet from that, like from here, that speaker from Caden Curry when they were warming up down there in the end zone, and there was a look in his eye, man. It was really crazy. Now, it might be that all the time, but he wanted to make a point.
Guys, I'm curious what they're going to do at 3-tech D-tackle. They have maybe the best 1-tech in the country in Caden McDonald. What are they going to do at 3-tech? Because they did. Edric Houston started the first 2 games. Tywone Malone started the last 2 games. Both of them did not grade out well last game. And they have Jarquez Carter, the aforementioned. He's been playing there as a true freshman.
Yeah.
What's going to happen at 3-tech D-tackle? Because the rest of the defensive line's playing great. If they can get Edric Houston, for example, to play up to his potential, not have the penalties, he's a little banged up, and be consistent, this defense is already a big problem. That could be the one missing piece, is having a 3-tech.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
Like Tywone Malone, he's kind of flashed a few. We talked about that a few minutes ago with Jim Lachey, but he's kind of flashed. I thought he was a little more consistent, a little more like a strobe, a strobe light last week and stuff. But the guy they need to really get back on the beam is Edric Houston, without a doubt, because he has that 5-star capability of being a difference maker in the middle of the defense there. So we'll see if that happens tonight. But, hey, as Matt Patricia showed, we talked about that, remember? We talked about that. He's not afraid to move Caden Curry down to the nose and play football. And that's how they were going to rob Peter to pay Paul this year, and we've seen it right before our very eyes.
Well, if Ohio State wants to do anything every week, it's to try to turn a team into one-dimensional.
Right.
If they can stop the run and really feast on a big quarterback, not a true dual threat, but that could be it.
Anthony, Washington had punted twice. Going into that game for the season. They punted twice in the first quarter last week. So anything's possible.
And we'll see what happens with their running back. We've talked a lot about Darius Taylor. He's missed the last 2 games with an injury. I bet he plays tonight. And why I'm saying that is because Drake Lindsey was talking this week about we think we can run the ball on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd say that if he thought his starting running back was going to miss his 3rd straight game.
I agree.
Maybe it's a play action fake before the game.
Right. The deep play action. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. We'll come back and do a final check-in with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, on the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Tailgate Show right here on the Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
There's an accident being taken care of on Indianola Avenue between East 15th and East 16th. That's the only major trouble spot right now. Otherwise, it's just heavy volumes. Lane Avenue from Carmack to Summit, very crowded. Olentangy River Road is very slow from Ackerman to King. High Street is slow from north of Lane to 5th Avenue. And don't forget, with it being a game day, Woody Hayes Drive is closed between Tuttle Park and Cannon. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Hi, Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Coming up, more football talk on The Fan.
That's right, Bob. And just like our hometown team, Worthington Jewelers is all about tradition, family, and winning moments.
Celebrate your victories with us, your hometown jeweler, Worthington Jewelers.
Here's a stat that hurts. The average adult waits up to 2 years before getting help for joint or back pain. 2 years of sitting out. 2 years of missing the game. At Ortho Neuro, you don't have to wait. Our orthopedic and spine experts treat every joint issue, often without surgery, and we've got next-day appointments ready. Don't sit on the sidelines another day. Schedule your consult now at orthoneuro.com. Ortho Neuro, for every motion in life.
When you need a mini excavator or a not-so-mini excavator, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and hardest working equipment experts in Columbus, we can help you take a big step toward a mini excavator in one of 17 different sizes, from 2,000 to 18,000-pound machines, with 6 to 24 feet of reach and 5 to 15 feet digging depth. Though in the most rental locations, and it's no wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
At Kemba Financial Credit Union, we care about you. Consumers like you say they don't want monthly fees for checking, and we listen. Introducing hassle-free checking with no monthly service fee. Use it as an easy place to deposit and transfer your money, along with your everyday banking needs. Plus, Kemba's expansive digital banking services make it easy for you to bank how you want. At Kemba, we're always thinking of ways to put you and your finances first. Visit Kemba.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Restrictions apply.
We're back to football talk, but before we kick off, a quick thanks to Bob and the team at Worthington Jewelers.
Thanks, Common Man. Whether it's game day or every day, we're here to help you celebrate life's biggest moments.
Worthington Jewelers, your hometown jeweler.
What he said.
Your home, your comfort, your family. That's everything. Big companies shout, big ads scream. But trust is quiet. It's a tech who fixes instead of sells. A family business here since 66. Northland Heating and Cooling, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Honest comfort, real people, real peace of mind. Northland Heating and Cooling.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Give me a mountain with lots to do. Give me the sunshine. Give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and a cool, refreshing mountain dew. So give me my good days. Give me a dew.
Grab some friends and an ice-cold Mountain Dew today.
Mountain Dew. Drive your dream car home today, no matter your credit history. Hey, it's Phil here at Capital Ford of Columbus and Whitehall. We proudly accept all credit types, good, bad, or none. Get pre-approved in minutes and hit the road with confidence. Get your new ride today. Call 614-861-7150 or shop our huge selection online at capitalfordofcolumbus.com. Your perfect ride is credit ready and waiting at Capital Ford of Columbus.
Score big this season with an MVP package from Lennox and Northland Heating and Cooling. Call today for your free estimate and special savings on Lennox products or visit hvacnorthland.com. That's Northland Heating and Cooling, your local Lennox Premier dealer.
Join the fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Airflow Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Tailgate Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Curtis & Associates and Mountain Dew.
Your forever flagship home of Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
All right, back to it. We'll get to our predictions. This place is a madhouse.
That's a pretty good band over there, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their Hotel California is excellent.
Man. The cheap ticket to the Eagles tonight.
Yes.
Right here.
That's kind of like what they looked like when I saw them at the Sphere back in, I forgot to bring my binoculars.
Hotel California.
All right, let me do it on the air. Do we have peels for our final check-in today? Paul up in the booth?
Yes.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. They did not alert me, but I know you're always there and ready. So our final check-in is sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. What do you have coming up?
In attendant and present. Coming up tonight on our network pregame show, we'll be hear from both head coaches, Ohio State's Ryan Day, as well as P.J. Fleck rowing the Minnesota boat. James Laurinaitis, linebackers coach, will talk about how the defense has played, in particular how they played at Washington last week. Mike Grimm, the play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, will give us a scouting report on what they've done to date. We'll hear from Tim Hinton about the Ohio State Coaches Clinic that they have every spring surrounding spring football. Tyler Danberg will talk with Ohio State place kicker Jaden Fielding and what he's been able to do. And as always, we will have our award-winning, world-famous, Hall of Fame, bell-ringing, J.D. Hoyt's Pork Chops, midnight at the Oasis, Porky's Playpen version of Buckeye Flashback with Hall of Famer Skip Mossig. That's coming up shortly.
How many can we have, Mr. Porky? We'll find out. I'm talking touchdowns, Paul. Good job.
You got it. Take care.
Excellent. You go from Midnight Oasis to Hotel California. You got it going.
All right. This is the matchup tonight, I think, on paper, if there was one, would be this Ohio State handling Minnesota's rush defense, right? This newfound running game, Bo Jackson leading the way. How much can they hammer into this Gopher defensive line? Because that's kind of what they're known for right now. You and I both think that if they hammer enough, Julian Sain will be able to throw over the top of it pretty easily tonight. But I think on paper, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you look at this Minnesota defense. They've been leaky for sure. They gave up 27 points to a Cal team that's not very good. They gave up 28 points to Rutgers. They did win that game. They lost to Cal 27-14. So this seems like a day where Julian Sain can really open it up the passing game.
Well, yeah, that's if they let him do it. But I agree 100%. I'm curious, man. Every game, like I said, I always watch it from the inside out. What's Ohio State offensive line doing to their defensive front? And then vice versa, what's Ohio State's defensive line do to their offensive front? And you could see last week Ohio State beginning to take more and more of a purchase of their offensive front with their defensive line, and vice versa. So that's the key tonight. I'm also going to watch in a microscopic way Philip Daniels and how he handles whoever they put over him from a pass rush situation, because there's got to be a little bit of bad blood there when you consider this is a decent Minnesota team and might be a little bit better if Philip Daniels was still there instead of at Ohio State, right?
That's exactly right. The thing about Philip Daniels, I almost want to apologize to him. I was like, he's going to be a good sixth man this year. I just had Onionwa penciled in. Not even penciled to him, man. I don't want to lie. I had him Sharpied in.
Matt
Anthony
Patricia's pencil.
Exactly. I had Onionwa at left tackle, Sarabelt at right tackle. I'm like, Daniels is going to be a good sixth man. No. He's a good starting right tackle right now, and the Buckeyes have him for 2 years after this one.
Well, that's what happens when you don't get to watch every practice, because we got to watch the first three, and you kind of figured Austin Sarabelt was going to be the right tackle, and Ethan Onionwa, the highly paid man from Rice, was going to be the left tackle, and it has not turned out to be that way because all kinds of things happened after that.
So every practice should be open to us, is what you're saying.
Well, remember in the old days?
Oh, I do.
That was great.
I do. I don't even remember your old day. Like, even when I first came on the beat was 2002.
Yeah.
So you'd already been on the beat for like at least 8 years, maybe longer.
Earl Bruce.
Every practice was open.
I went to every practice under Earl Bruce and Jim Trussell when you could.
Right.
And Earl Bruce's great line was, nobody ever wants to come to practice until we close it.
The one thing that I always think about when Minnesota comes here, the only thing I usually think about is the highlight of their highlights, which is in 2000.
Yes.
When Glenn Mason came in and was basically auditioning for the job.
Yes.
Beats Ohio State in Ohio Stadium. Ron Johnson.
I think the Buckeyes are ranked fifth.
Yeah, audio consultant and great wide receiver. That's an old movie reference.
I like it.
All right,
Nice,
Little Fast Times.
Nice.
And Glenn Mason gets carried out here like, hey, don't worry, I'll be back.
He had that great line after the game, too, talking about riding in the bus. He came right down High Street. He wanted to the team to kind of feel it was homecoming. You want the team to kind of feel what was up, and stuff. And then they walk in here, and they were the better team that day. I don't think anybody would. But that's funny about Minnesota. Just like when Indiana had Bill Mallory, they didn't realize what they had in Glenn Mason. We can always be better, right? You can always be better, not necessarily.
They never seem to really forgive him for going after the Ohio State job. Like, how would he? He played at Ohio State. He's an Ohio State grad, former Ohio State assistant coach. And I give Andy Geiger a lot of credit. As good of a coach as Glenn Mason was, Jim Tressel was clearly better. We didn't know that at the time. You had a lot of powerful people at Ohio State. They were all Glenn Mason, Glenn Mason. And Andy Geiger, I give him credit. He said, no, Jim Tressel.
Andy wanted it to be his hire. And it was.
This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid. And so this is the game tonight, 23.5-point favorites. If you're into that kind of thing, which we are, it is under a key number, 24. So it is under that, if you believe in that stuff. And like you and I, like the three of us have talked about, if this does go over 42.5 points, it does feel like Ohio State will have to earn the bulk of that. And so I think we're all
carry the water
in that mindset that they can. But, each game is its own game. Ohio State's been a slow starter. I think that's what they have to somewhat hammer away tonight.
Yeah.
Is if we don't get the first touchdown late in the second quarter. I don't anticipate it. Last week was a different beast. On the road. Made a couple mistakes early.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not make more. And then eventually the game will go Ohio State's way. This one, I think they can call it aggressively early if they want to.
Yeah, I have this one, Ohio State 38, Minnesota 7, so that would be Ohio State covering by a good margin and barely over the spread, so I have 38-7. I think somebody else that I know very well also has the same score, apparently. Hey, great minds think alike, and us too, apparently.
Apparently. I've got it 41-7. That's the number that just keeps going on in my head. So
very close.
I'm going to stick with for the very – I think Ohio State might get a cheap one tonight with this defense.
Yeah, I think maybe people listening might ask us the question, you guys really think Minnesota's going to score?
Yeah.
So maybe that is the right question.
I'm not convinced.
Maybe we do think that's the right question. And we never know how it's going to play out with a late deal. The Lincoln Keenholz package has not reappeared yet.
No.
Not needed, obviously. I get it.
I think that's good overall. If you had to get Lincoln in there in the red zone, that means you're saying we don't have any confidence in Julian, or not enough confidence.
I just think you run your best play, and if it's Lincoln Keenholz, that's what you run. I mean, last week, like you said, it got so clunky after they got stuffed on that fourth down where C.J. Donaldson got stuffed at the goal line, and then they lose their next possession on the punt return. Now you're fighting for your life a little bit, and they turn to their best player. I would expect they turn to their best player earlier tonight. And by the way, by that I mean Jeremiah Smith.
All right, the Toyota Fan Tailgate Show is presented by Mountain Dew. All right, you guys already gave your final predictions, so we got a pair of 38-7s and a 41-7.
Yeah. I believe in Jaden Fields.
This is my rookie year on the show, so I jumped the gun a little bit, as a rookie is wont to do.
Well, we all agree on one thing. Minnesota scoring 7 tonight.
Yeah,
that's what we all agree.
And, those always come back to bite you. Like I picked the shutout against Grambling, and luckily they didn't have a field goal kicker.
Absolutely. We remember talking about that. All right, great job, TLC, back in the studio. Dan the Man Volpe, everybody here, thank you so much. Buckeye Nation, enjoy. Keep it right here locked on Buckeye Nation right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
From the Riverside Bank of Dublin Game Day Traffic Center.
Cleaning up an accident on Indianola Avenue between East 15th and East 16th. Otherwise, just really heavy volume, slowing some spots down. High Street between Lane and 5th Avenues, very slow. Lane Avenue from about Kenny Road to Summit Street is pretty crowded. Olentangy River Road from Ackerman to King has a lot of brake lights.